Our holidays may have since passed, but the winter's feast carries on, and there are stories left untold. There is nothing jolly about this next one, and he certainly isn't out to gift us presents, so it seems we'll have to steal what's ours. That being said, our journey doesn't begin knee deep in the white stuff, but rather nice and cozy within the autumn breeze. For in autumn, we have a special mob spawn in the form of no-eyed deer. These exclusive and seasonal mobs will spawn but 3 to 5 days in the autumn, although they can be difficult to track down and can be found in either the deciduous forest biome with the fat man himself or the hodgepodge mosaic biome with the rock den. But if they're only in 2 biomes, why did you say that they're difficult to find, Beard? Well, initially not so much, but I do advise finding them ASAP, because if you do wait until winter, the deer will begin to migrate, and then they can roam every which way to Sunday, which can really put you in a bind if you go looking for them then. Now, you might have noticed that one of them has a little something going on, and thus we have stumbled upon step 1 for getting the big bad going: antlers. Stay near, and you may even see them grow in. Deers will grow theirs in about a day-ish, but it usually takes a bit longer. But give it a few, and soon they will all be rocking some bony goodness, and the antlers actually come in 3 different variations. However, that doesn't have any impact on their purpose whatsoever. Whatever the case, how do we go about getting them antlers? Well, there's always a place for murder. But is there? You can certainly kill the peaceful beasts with ease, but it won't actually drop its prize. So it seems that, for once, cold-blooded murder isn't the right thing to do, especially due to the fact that you now scared all the others away and have to locate them once again. Although murder won't net us our prize, it can still be a great motivator. You see, you hit one, the rest flee, and if they happen to run into an object like a tree, they themselves will actually knock their own antlers loose. Thus, you don't have to wait for ages for them to drop them naturally, so you can just claim them for your own right now. But now what? Well, we need to find this guy, the Loot Stash. Yet another Don't Starve Together exclusive. The stash will spawn 1 to 3 days after the start of winter, but will despawn come the beginning of spring. However, the Loot Stash is around all year during winter's feast. That being said, just where do you find it exactly? Well, you'll typically find it within the very same biomes as that of the no-eyed deer. So head on into that mosaic once more, or take a trip to the fat man's domain in hopes of finding your bounty. If you have an antler, the fight is actually yours to begin. But don't be a numpty. We haven't even prepared yet. So, head on back home and nab what you need to satisfy your need for meat. Head into that fight tab to nab yourself one luscious hambat, a weapon with no durability and one that does 59.5 damage per smack of your meat. Delicious. But we can do better. Embrace the dark magic and conjure up some beautiful dark swords. At 68 damage a pop, very little can stand up to them, so get you some. Hope you grew some dragon fruit before the big freeze, as but 1 fruit and 3 twigs in a crockpot can net you some dragon fruit pies. But you can't go wrong with the side of pierogies, and using some meats, veggies, and some egg filling, you can do just that. Are they needed? No. Are they welcome? Absolutely. If you can, make yourself some good old jelly beans for the bout as well, because that healing over time can really save your behind in this fight. I also implore you to use a walking cane, as you'll be highly mobile throughout the fight. So, a little extra speed can go a long way. With all that in hand, pick up an antler, mouse over the loot stash, and click it to summon the beast of the hour, Klaus. Now, he and his dear minions will wander over to the stash, but there's nothing stopping you from running headfirst into danger. Klaus is a fun and interesting one, as he not only has melee attacks, his deer do too. Plus, his deer are the source of his dynamic ranged attacks of ice and fire. So when you see him raise his hand, run, because there's about to be a circle of fiery hot fire or chillingly chill ice beneath ya, both of which can deal damage to you on multiple fronts. He is kiteable, so watch closely as I do kite him on several occasions with and without the use of a cane. And I'd be very cautious about enlisting the help of some of the locals, especially other big bads. Usually, I'd be all for mob-on-mob violence, but Klaus has a trick up his sleeve. You see, if either of his deer die, Klaus becomes enraged Klaus, up in his health and damage output to incredible levels, and his range is near unavoidable. So this is not a fight you just casually enter when you came prepared for just a normal head-to-head with the wannabe Santa. But back to our regularly scheduled program, just remember that this fight is an endurance match if you're tackling it solo, but even not so much. But just keep moving, remember the patterns, and just keep knocking him down a peg at a time. Eventually, he will fall to his knees, but he ain't surrendering. He's calling for backup, and that backup comes in the form of another stingy bastard, Krampus, arriving in various numbers. They'll also be looking to end ya, so you better tank them, even though they do a whopping 50 damage each. Get them out of the way so you don't get swarmed by everything at once. You may have to battle the night or freezing as well, but a simple lantern can mend the first, while the fire attack of his can actually keep you warm if used in a smart fashion. But in the end, Klaus will fall like all the rest. Or will he? That's right, folks. The son of a gun has 2 bloody phases, the sneaky devil. Now, not too much has changed about him, apart from a new long-range chopping melee attack that could prove problematic. But just bait it out, then bait out his normal melee if he does it, and just go in to get your attacks when you seem safe and fit. I typically show the whole fight, but holy crap, the pigs in the area just kept ruining everything. But again, stay mobile and attack smart. Don't be a bonehead. And Klaus will eventually fall for real this time. His deer can still attack if you are aggroed onto them, so be careful. Before they set themselves free, you aren't really out of the woods yet. But when you're done freezing your patootie off, grab that stag antler that he dropped and open up the coveted loot stash. to find your treasures waiting for you. Usually, there's about 4 bundled supplies within. However, Winter's Feast sees a total of 6 presents for your troubles. And one will contain his or his deer's magnificent adornments and some other wintry feasty things. Unfortunately, the majority of the bundles have a chance of giving some not so very good loot, all things considered, while others can net some fancy garbles for your surviving needs. Check out these here for more info. Well, there you have it, everyone. A guide on the elusive and exclusive Klaus, one of my personal favorite fights in all of Don't Starve. I hope this helped, and I hope that you enjoyed. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.